Welcome, everyone, to the David Guillen podcast. This is episode 8, and we'll do another short segment. Usually these are somewhere between 14 and 20 minutes. I know we all have busy lives, and I just want to bring for you the most impactful concept and energy of the week that we can take for ourselves to become more like the Creator. The wisdom of Kabbalah is explaining that our souls came to this world in order to receive all the beneficence of the Creator. And what does that mean practically in our lives? Well, there's several different buckets. The bucket of health, the bucket of wisdom, the bucket of wealth and prosperity, knowing our purpose, love, relationships, children, friends, that feeling of inner peace. These are all different buckets of fulfillment that we're all looking for. And it is our birthright, according to the wisdom of Kabbalah, that we will receive everything in our lifetime. And in fact, it says that even in 1 year, a person will experience every test and challenge that their soul needs in order to receive all the fulfillment that belongs to their soul. So in the course of 1 year, 1 calendar year, 355 days approximately, according to the lunar calendar, spiritually, you will go through everything and anything you need to go through in order to reach your full perfection. Now, it's virtually impossible that we will actually pass every test. And so every year, the circle comes back, and whatever correction we did not make in our soul, we will experience in another shape or form. So every test we're going through now, every bit of lack that we have and fear that we have and challenge that we have and opposition that we have and failure that we have, you may be experiencing pain right now in one way or another, or some limitation, or maybe you're just frustrated. Maybe you're growing, but you feel you should be growing in a different way, in a bigger way. Maybe you have such big goals that even though maybe relative to other people, you're very successful, but you're not where you feel you need to be. So all of this is pain, some form of pain. And this is coming in order to awaken something inside of ourselves so that we transform, create affinity of form with the Creator's energy, with this light, with this universal force, which removes darkness. And once there's affinity of form, the darkness leaves. So a person is single one day, and the very next hour, they could meet someone because the Creator will have told this person and made this person attracted to you because they are your soulmate. Now, they were not attracted to you an hour prior because your consciousness wasn't in the right place. You hadn't made that transformation. You hadn't broken that fear. You hadn't cleansed that negativity. And so this person who is your soulmate wasn't attracted to you yet. In fact, they walked past you every day and didn't even think twice about you. I was speaking to someone recently, and she said, she just doesn't even feel the need to look at this guy or look at that guy. And I've heard this from obviously both men and women. You never even think about this person who's in your life twice. But then one day you wake up and you look at them, or all of a sudden you notice them, or all of a sudden they notice you, or all of a sudden you feel compelled to fly to some part of the world and you meet someone. Somebody was just telling me the story of how they met their husband of 9 years that they're happily married to in the airport because he was lost and he couldn't find the right gate. And she asked him, "Are you lost? Are you looking for something?" And he didn't understand the language of the airport. And he said, "Yeah, I'm looking for gate so-and-so." And then they started talking. And a year later, they were married. So the Creator arranged them meeting at the airport because that day or that week, they had already shifted something in both of their consciousnesses, in their energies, to allow their souls to finally come together. That's why it's called a soulmate, because the soul has to be shining in order for the souls to meet. And the soul doesn't shine when there are layers of negativity over the soul. When you have bitterness in your heart, when you have anger towards anything, you could be angry at the political situation today. Just be angry at that, right? Just imagine like it didn't go your way and you're angry. For all the right reasons, all the wrong reasons, doesn't matter. But that anger sits on your soul and it dims your soul. And that means that if you're single, looking to find your other half, and all of a sudden you are now angry about political situation, for example, you will have to wait 4 more years before you meet your soulmate, until maybe there's a new president and then you're happy and then that anger goes away temporarily. And so your soul can shine again. It sounds pretty crazy when I give this example, but this is how it actually works. So what if things don't go our way? The question is, what's your consciousness? What's your vibration? What are your thoughts? Because we cannot suffocate our soul. We have to allow our soul to shine, and everything is a test. So much so that if you didn't have anger issues, people would not be compelled to make you angry. I'll say that again. Because you have anger issues, people feel compelled to make you angry, to test you so your anger comes out so you can cleanse it. If you were not angry, if your soul didn't have anger, everyone would act perfectly around you. So it's our imperfections that are drawing people and forcing people to hurt us. Now, this could be a very triggering statement. But even if we're triggered by it, I'm not here to, we're not here to preach or take sides or to be virtuous or to say what's right or wrong. We're studying Kabbalah because we just want to get to the goal, the end result, which is happiness and pleasure. Who cares if you're right or wrong if you're not happy? And if you're not connected to the light of the Creator, you're not going to be happy. So if something is said that triggers you, whether it's by me or anybody else, it doesn't matter what was said. The point is there's a trigger. If you go to the dentist and the dentist is looking at your teeth and poking with that sharp metal, like whatever that's called, that little stick, poking at your teeth, poking at your gums. All of a sudden pokes at a tooth and it's painful. I go, it's painful. Well, what has the dentist just discovered? A potential cavity, which then becomes a potential root canal. So the dentist keeps poking at the tooth that hurts and says, we need to work on this tooth. Now, are you going to tell the dentist, how dare you focus on my negativity? Why don't you just focus on all the good teeth? Why do you always have to find the tooth that is bad? Would you ever say that to your dentist? Would you ever say to your dentist that he's a narcissist because he's always focusing on your bad tooth? Or are you going to go home and send YouTube clips about the 5 signs of a narcissist to your dentist because every time you go to his office, he always talks about the one cavity you have as opposed to the 30 other beautiful teeth you have, right? Are you going to go home to your friends and you're like, you won't believe my narcissistic, self-absorbed, only sees the bad dentist. You're never going to do that because you actually go to the dentist to be triggered, to find the cavity so that you can heal the cavity so that you don't have to lose the tooth. But in life, we have many dentists, and these dentists are poking around our soul. These dentists are your children. They poke at your soul. I know very clearly that if I'm in a needy mood, if I'm needy and I need love and attention, and I go to my daughter and I crouch down and I say, Princess, come give me a hug. She looks at me. And if she smells neediness, guess what she's going to do? Run the other way. Because the Creator told her to awaken my abandonment issues. Now I got to deal with. See, that, my daughter is being a dentist right there. Everyone is programmed to be a dentist to your soul. And the sooner we can realize that and not shoot the messenger, just the realization and the acceptance And in Kabbalah 1, class 1, which if you've never taken my masterclass, take it. It explains everything in chronological order about the soul. It's Kabbalah1.com, and it's pay whatever you want. You can pay whatever you want for it. Kabbalah 1, class 1, we have the mantra, pause, what a pleasure. Pause, what a pleasure. My children are triggering me. My boss is not acknowledging me or is overworking me. My friends aren't being good friends. My mother is being annoying. I just don't feel good. Whatever it is, you pause. What a pleasure. What a pleasure that the Creator is giving me an opportunity now to remove the curtains over my soul so that I can shine, so the light can come in and the darkness can go away. Your job isn't to go find your soulmate. That's not your job. That's God's job. Why are you doing God's job? Your job isn't to go find your purpose. Everyone's like, how do I find my purpose? That's not your job. You don't find your purpose. The purpose is revealed to you when you do your job. Your job is the elevation of your consciousness and the transformation of your negativity to allow your soul to become one with the Creator. That's your job. But there's a negative force in this world called the opponent. It's like a negative angel. It's a negative force. The angels are very powerful in this world, who wants us to always be busy doing God's job. Changing other people, changing my situation, going out there to find that thing that will make me happy. No one's ever been happy from going out there to find something. Everything that will ever make you happy long-term comes through the back door. It's when you're not paying attention. Why? There's actually many deep Kabbalistic secrets of why it coming through the back door. Many times people will say the best things come when you're not looking. That's a nice statement, but Kabbalah is about learning why. Like, tell me why. Because when you're not paying attention, it means your desire to receive for the self alone. Your ego is deactivated, right? What is paying attention? Paying attention means my desires are invested, which means my selfishness is invested. And so when you're not paying attention, quote unquote, your desires and your selfishness are deactivated. And so you have affinity of form with miracles. And that's why the miracle comes. The reason people say sleep on it, and then the answer comes, is because when you sleep on it, you're deactivating the needy side of you, the doubtful side of you, the anxious side of you. You deactivate it because that's what it means to sleep on it. You're essentially transforming and letting go of the part of you that has no affinity with the Creator. And then by sleeping on it, you get the answer. So when you're not looking or not paying attention, the miracles come because there's a transformation of your negativity, or at least a temporary pause in your negativity. So what does that tell us? We are in control. We have the power to create anything at any moment. In fact, right now, at this very moment, you are creating new destinies, new realities, new circumstances. You are determining whether your wedding date is in 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, 10 years. You're determining right now whether that first 100,000 you're supposed to make or that first million you're supposed to make will happen in 1 hour, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year. If it's meant for you, it's going to come to you. The question is, and your free will is, when and how. Those are the only two free wills we have. Either something's going to take a long time or it's going to happen quickly. The second free will is either it's going to happen through pain and suffering or it's going to happen through miracles. The reason why Kabbalah is so powerful is it inspires us to transform who we are so we can receive through the path of miracles. So we can receive through wisdom. So we can receive through divinity, not receive through pain and suffering. I know a lot of people, and so do you, and we might actually be these people, who we suffer this torturous breakup and failure and crash for a year. And then all of a sudden, whoa, everything opens up and like amazing things happen, right? And you're like, oh yes, through the greatest suffering comes the greatest miracles. Yeah, that's option 2. That's like the circuit breaker. That's the default system the Creator created because the Creator wants to give you everything. And realize if you don't do it the proactive way, well, then you got to suffer and then you'll get the miracle. And people are so proud of that. People are like so proud. I remember there's a famous story that someone always said to my teacher, Rob Berg. He said, this man came up to him and said, I had the greatest miracle today. So Rob Berg said, what was the miracle? He said, I was in this horrible car accident. I mean, you should have seen what happened to the car. It's totaled and demolished. And I came out with not even a scratch. Isn't that an incredible miracle? So my teacher looks at the student and smiles and said, well, let me tell you something. I had an even greater miracle today. He said, what was that? He said, I didn't even get into a car accident. We are so fixated upon being that first person. My car got totaled, and oh my God, I'm going to tell all my friends I didn't even break a bone. That's life? That's what you want your life to be? Hey guys, I suffered greatly, and look at this thing I got because I suffered so much. That you want an attaboy for that? We have become accustomed to suffering and falling and crashing and burning, and then like some little good thing happens and we like write a book about it. The fall and rise of my life. Like, that's my life. Here's my memoir. I suffered for 50 years and then this one thing happened, which was I just became wise and spiritual for a moment. That's not life. If we actually, while things are great, while we feel we don't even need to do it, we actually focus on our transformation and the elevation of our consciousness and the elevation of our certainty, the elevation of our vibration. And we let go of the bitterness and we let go of the sarcasm and we let go of the anger that we have towards whoever or whatever. And we let go of the being cheap, just always looking for the sale, always looking for the extra, being penny wise, pound foolish. I saved $1 here. Yeah, but you lost $100,000 there. Being cheap. Is the creator cheap? Stop being cheap. Buy things for people. Buy things for your friends. Buy things for your spouse. Spend more than you're used to. So what? Stop being cheap. Go buy yourself something. If you're cheap and you go buy something nice for yourself, you'll make more money because you're transforming being cheap, if that's your intention. Stop being cheap. I don't know why I'm talking about being cheap. Somebody needs to hear it. Letting go of the worrying about your kids and will they get married and will they be this way and will they be that way and worrying about if you have this disease or not, or so much things we worry about. Releasing all of this is the only thing we're meant to do. And if we do it proactively, we will not need to be forced to do it from the outside. We will not suffer. Suffering should not be our norm. This is the week that the energy comes down to show us that life doesn't have to be difficult. Life doesn't have to be arduous. Life doesn't have to be 99% grind and 1% a break. Life doesn't have to be. The creator is not cheap. The creator does not worry. The creator does not have laziness. The creator is not blaming or upset with the economy. The creator doesn't care about politics. The creator is just infinite light. And if we want to be in that club called infinite light, if we want to be in that club, we have to become like the creator. So let it all go. Realize that everybody's a dentist. Realize that people are going to focus on the tooth with the cavity. So they're going to hone in on that one part of you that's most insecure and bring it out. And if you have abandonment issues, you better believe you're going to attract that man or woman who's emotionally unavailable. You're going to. And it's not a bad thing. It's a wonderful thing. And all your friends say, oh, he's toxic and she's toxic. Yeah. No, she's actually not toxic. She's perfect for you. He is not toxic. He is perfect for you because he's bringing out your abandonment wounds. I mean, you want a perfect man that will... It's like saying, I want a dentist that doesn't look at my cavities. No, it's good you have this man or this woman that is driving you absolutely nuts. I'm not saying you should stay that way. I'm saying you elevate yourself, you transform your abandonment issue, you transform your jealousy, you transform your control issues. You know what's going to happen to that man? One of two things. He will either transform and elevate or he will disappear. But if you try to get rid of him before you change, he will be replaced by another. Different hair color, different astrological sign, a little bit more painful. because you didn't learn the lesson the first time. This is the week. This is the week we can learn lessons that we were meant to learn in 20 years in one day, in one moment. You have the power to create whatever reality you want. You can do it in 1 second. There is no time, space, or motion in the creator, and therefore there's no time, space, or motion in your life.